Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
In today's review, we're looking at Constructo by Adrián Carratala and the greater team at Thinking Paradox. This is the same group of people who created Ring on Shoelace that fooled Penn and Teller on Fool Us, so you know it's going to be good. And it does not disappoint. It is a little bit expensive at £150, but the TLDR on this is if you have money and if you fit into a specific group of magicians, then this is such an incredible routine. It's such an incredible product. To find out if you're in that specific group of magicians, let's continue with the review. What is Constructo? The idea is that it's a thought of playing card reveal, kind of like the invisible deck, but way more clever, way more magical, and way more impressive, and also way more impossible. So you ask your audience to, or someone in your audience to think of a color, red or black, and then you ask someone else from the audience to think of a suit in that color, and then you can ask anyone in the audience to think of a card from that suit. You reach out and then you produce a card, a single folded card, and the thought of card is the King of Spades. So you open it up and the one card is the King of Spades. Obviously, this is a very short version, but this is literally what the effect is. This is what you do in a longer, more entertaining presentation. What do you get with Constructo? I wish I could show you what's inside this tin. Unfortunately, I can't because everything in here gives away all of the workings and the method and everything. What I can tell you is that it will work with anyone. It doesn't use very much sleight of hand. It resets instantly. All of the materials are going to last a really long time. And on top of the incredible props they've produced and gimmicks and everything that's in here, there's also really great teachings from Adrián himself. And there are two versions. So it will take you to, the link will take you to a website and you can watch the instructions, which are roughly an hour long, either in Spanish, or you can watch English instructions, which have English subtitles, but still Spanish audio. So if you don't like reading from subtitles, this may be a little bit longer of a learning process for you, but I think it's great that there are two options. I think it's great that Adrián and the Thinking Paradox team explain everything in their own language so that it's easier and it flows better. There is also one other point. So in the time that they filmed the original tutorial, a couple of things have changed with the product. There are 3 more videos now that explain the updates in the gimmicks. So I do recommend that if you do purchase this, make sure you watch all of the tutorials, all of the videos. Make sure you go down to the section that says, you know, please watch these videos, because those 3 will give you updates that are really important. And I think that's about it with what you receive with Constructo. You receive loads of stuff which you wouldn't expect in this thin tin, but you receive a lot of things. The gimmick is really simple, it's really easy to maintain, and it's going to last you probably forever. If you want to know anything else specific about it, leave a comment below. How easy is it? It's relatively easy. There's not really any sleight of hand. There's not really any skill. You will have to learn some presentation. So the method of the card that's chosen is not what you think it is. It is not equivoque. It's a variation on that with so many other things that make it even more clever. And you have a choice of red or black. They can freely choose either. And you have the choice of all of the court cards. So those are all of the ones that you can produce. And it's a very simple move. You can either do it like I did it earlier in this review, or you can do it more visually like this, which is shown on the trailer of Constructo. Adrián does teach multiple handlings in the instructions, so he covers you for anything you need to know about this. But overall, it is a reasonably easy trick to perform. The only thing that I would say is that if you are a young child or if you are a person with very small hands, childlike hands, you're not going to be able to perform this. You do kind of need to be a teenager or an adult with fully grown hands. Otherwise, the gimmicks might not work that well with you. But that's a minor point because I don't think any young people will be spending £150 on a product like this. Hopefully I've covered how easy it is without giving too much away, but it's really not a difficult routine to perform, and it's really not intensive in terms of sleight of hand or anything like that. Reset time is fantastic. It's very fast, near instant. So as soon as you produce that card, you can open it up, you can put it back, and then you can put that card back in your pocket, or you can put it back in your box or wherever you're working from, and it's reset again, ready to go. It's a very quick, very simple reset. Even though the gimmick is very complex, it's also very simple at the same time. And as such, that makes the reset very quick and very clean. Not that you would really want to perform this over and over again. I do think this is suited for certain situations, which I'll touch on the final thoughts, but the reset time is very fast. Angles are pretty good overall. I think given the kind of trick this is, and given the kind of routine, and given the way that it's presented, I think that this is more suited for a performance to an audience, and I don't think many people would be performing this around tables, or as in table hopping, or in close-up walk around or anything like that. I do think it's suited for set performances, whether you're at a table like this, or whether you have a larger show and it's projected on screen, or even just a traditional theater with 100 or 200 people. I think that will work as well. Producing that card is very visual and easy to see for people. So while I think the angles are very good, and you can perform it pretty much surrounded, you probably won't because of the nature of the effect. It will also work, or could work, with street performers as well who are surrounded. So that's not a problem either. And hopefully that describes the overall angles of Constructo. Pocket space is just as good as everything else in this project. It's a very small gimmick. There's actually two parts to the gimmick, and they're both very small. So they both sit in a pocket, and that can be your outer pocket, your jacket pocket, your trouser pocket. It can be wherever you like to keep them, but two small things sit in your pocket, and that's all there is in terms of pocket space. It doesn't take up anything else. It's very minimal when it comes to pocket space. I just want to interrupt this review for a second. If you find my reviews helpful, and if they help you make a purchase or decide not to purchase and save you money, please do support this channel. The more support this channel gets, the more subscribers we get, the more people who interact with the channel, the more reviews I'm going to be able to do, and the more I'm going to be able to help you. I'm trying to do these reviews to help the magic community and help people like you, because there are a lot of reviewers who talk absolute nonsense. So if you do enjoy this channel and you do find my content useful, then please do share, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate everything everyone does for this channel. Back to the review. And now for my final thoughts. There are a few things to touch on with this. One is that one other thing that you might need, in addition to the product, is some talcum powder. This is something that is touched on in those extra videos that I mentioned after they released the initial batch of these, and then there were some changes to the product. So they do give you a tip to using talcum powder just once, but that is something that you might want to have. It might be useful, and if you're thinking about buying this and don't have any, it's no drama. It's just that having some talcum powder will help you maintain the gimmicks and preserve the lifespan of them as well. Another thing is, I forget if I mentioned this earlier in a review, you get the choice of producing any one of the court cards, and I don't know if you could see when I was showing the card that I produced, that the court cards are an enlarged print. So it's not a regular court card, it's the one that can be seen from really far away. So if you're performing on a stage, people in the front rows, and even depending on how big the performance space is and the theater is, even on the middle and back rows, should be able to see it. So be aware of that. They are printed specifically to be performed, or at least to have the ability to perform them in larger situations, larger theaters, larger performance spaces. Also, in the top pinned comment of this review, Adrián has given me a link where anyone who purchases Constructo from Thinking Paradox through that link will receive free shipping. So that's definitely something to make use of. And Adrián said that is just for my subscribers. So make the most of that. I think that's overall everything I have to say about Constructo. I may have missed a thing or two off. I've recorded this review so many times because there's so many things to touch on. But I may have missed something off. If I didn't mention this earlier in the review, as I said, I think it's for a specific group of magicians. That group of magicians is basically professional magicians. This is an expensive trick. It's something that I think might be out of some people's comfort zone if they're amateurs or if they're hobbyists. And I think that it really requires not so much skill, but I think it requires some performance experience to be able to perform it effectively. It's not a trick that you're just going to be able to go out and do. It requires some thought about the presentation, and although the gimmick does pretty much everything for you and there's not much sleight of hand involved, it's everything else that goes around it that I think is going to require that experience of a magician who has worked a little bit. I think I'm going to wrap this review up. As I say, I've recorded this so many times. I've tried to not give anything away. I've tried to explain everything that I could think of that you would want to know. If I've missed anything off, leave it in a comment below and I will try to get back to you. This, as I said, is also from the creators Adrián and Thinking Paradox of Ring to Shoelace. My Ring to Shoelace review will be here now if you want to watch it. I highly recommend that product as well. Everything that Thinking Paradox creates is fantastic. That's it for today. That's the review. I'll see you in the next one.